Welcome back to the deep dive. You trusted us with this heavy stack of sources, all detailing what really felt like a turning point for the Maple Leafs.
It really did.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum was finally building. Key players were healing up. The team looked like it was actually ready to climb.
And then almost overnight, that whole narrative just, it completely evaporated.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The consensus from the reports you shared, and we're seeing insights cited from guys like Elliot Friedman, Craig Berube, is that the situation has taken what they're calling a sickening turn.
That's the phrase, yeah.
And now we're looking at multiple really critical absences that are forcing a complete, totally unexpected overhaul of the lineup. Not just for tonight, but for, well, a long time.
That's right. And our mission here is, I think, it's pretty critical. We need to triage this news. This isn't just about feeling disappointed. This is about strategic risk. We have to separate the short-term frustrating setback, a star player gets a bruise, from the really, truly season-altering losses. The ones that are going to test this organization's depth and, frankly, management's resolve.
Especially with the schedule they have coming up.
Exactly. Especially with that workload.
It's just the whiplash of it all that hurts. We were fully expecting to dive into a healthy roster. Matthews driving the offense, the new guy, Chris Tanev, finally stabilizing the defense.
And instead, here we are. A deep dive on a fresh and pretty devastating injury report.
So where do we even begin with this?
Well, if we're triaging the sources, you have to start with severity. We have to immediately isolate the two injuries that everyone is calling the most seriously concerning.
Right.
These are the ones that fundamentally change the team's outlook because they are almost certainly not day-to-day. We're talking about Dakota Joshua and Chris Tanev.
Let's start with Joshua then. That one sounds bad.
It does. Let's start with the one that, frankly, transcends the sport itself. Dakota Joshua. The source reports say he sustained a significant kidney injury.
From that hit into the boards in the Detroit game.
That's the one. And the really alarming detail here is that he's still in Detroit. Presumably that means hospitalized. The source calls this the worst one of all.
Wow. Yeah, if he didn't travel back with the team, that immediately raises some serious medical flags. That's way beyond just a hockey injury.
It is. A significant internal injury like that suggests a very long timeline.
You're not talking weeks at that point.
No. If we connect the dots here, recovery from a severe kidney injury requires extensive rest. We're likely talking about months, plural, not weeks. And think about what he brings to this team.
He's all grit, the physical presence in the bottom six.
Exactly. The energy, the grit, winning those board battles, losing him for a really extended period, maybe even the rest of the regular season. That's a catastrophic loss. You can't just replace that with a minor league call-up.
Of course, all our best wishes go to him for a full recovery. That's awful news.
Absolutely.
And then, right alongside that in terms of severity, is the strategic loss of Chris Tanev. We were just praising the immediate, the palpable difference he made.
We were.
And now he's questionable, he's out tonight, and the sources are really emphasizing this is a totally new, unrelated issue. Just terrible luck.
The reports are pretty clear on this. It's probably not a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
It could signal yet another extended period of time again. You can almost hear the collective groan from inside the organization.
Especially given that he's barely played this year, and we're already in year 2 of his contract.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, but here's where the insight gets really interesting for me on Tanev's impact. Because the source material, it's almost hyperbolic. One description said he made the team 10 times better. Let's actually analyze that. What does that mean on the ice?
Well, you say hyperbole, but if you actually look at the underlying metrics since he arrived, it might not be. Tanev doesn't score flashy goals, we know that,
right.
But he's an elite defensive stabilizer. When he is on the ice, the Leafs' expected goals against, it just plummets. His value is in those clean, quick zone exits, recovering loose pucks that allows the more offensive D-men to actually take risks.
So his presence lets other guys play their game.
Perfectly put. When Tanev is gone, the entire defensive structure, it becomes riskier. Forwards have to cheat back a little more, and that inevitably reduces your offensive pressure. Losing him means the team basically reverts to that more scrambling, less structured defensive identity we saw earlier.
That impact is way more than just 2 points in the standings.
Far more. It's foundational.
Okay, so we've established Joshua and Tanev are the long-term structural losses. That's the strategic context. Now let's talk about the immediate chaos, the day-to-day absences of the two biggest names.
Right. And while the sources are saying the team is not too worried about Austin Matthews or William Nylander long-term, the timing. I mean, it just couldn't be worse. This is pure disruption.
Exactly. Matthews is a game-time decision tonight. It's from blocking that shot in Detroit. It sounds like a really painful bruise, maybe affecting his mobility or his shot.
But the frustration is the lost momentum.
That's it. He was, and I quote, finally starting to get his footing down. He showed up big in that multi-point game against Ottawa, and we saw his wrist shot. The one that looked a little off earlier, it was looking sharp again.
It was.
So missing even 1 or 2 games right now, just as he hits his stride, it disrupts the whole engine. And Nylander's in the same boat. Day-to-day, expected to sit tonight.
And when you pile these short-term injuries on top of the long-term ones, it just exposes how thin that roster structure really is. We saw the reaction immediately.
The Marlies getting pulled from their trip.
Yep, the AHL Marlies were told not to travel to Cleveland. It wasn't a proactive move. That was a desperate emergency reaction.
And that emergency reaction brings Jacob Quillen back up and Matt Benning, who they got in the Liljegren trade last year. He's suddenly with the big club.
Right. And the result is a lineup for tonight that's described as being all over the place.
Yeah.
This isn't strategy. This is improvisation. We see the rookie Cowan immediately slotted onto the second line with Robertson.
And then there's that curious description of the top line without Matthews. It's being called a power line. We should break that down. What is the coaching staff trying to do there?
I think, given the pieces they have left, you're probably looking at guys like Tavares and Neeson up there. A power line means a fundamental shift away from speed and skill.
So it's change in philosophy.
It has to be. It means they're going to use that line to get on the forecheck, cycle the puck down low, and try to generate offense through board battles and net front traffic. They're trying to weaponize size because they've lost that world-class scoring touch from Matthews. It's a strategic concession. It's not plan A. And this is really the moment where that next man up cliche becomes a stark reality. Players like Quillen suddenly have massive pressure on them. And it raises a huge organizational question. Are you now hinging your playoff hopes on guys who were playing AHL minutes 48 hours ago?
The margin for error just shrinks to nothing.
To zero.
And that strategic tightrope walk, that brings us to the broader pressures, the ones facing the organization that go way beyond just tonight's game.
Let's look at the calendar, because that is the silent killer in all of this. The source material kind of points a finger at the league itself. It suggests this constant strain, this continuity of injuries all season. It might be kind of on the NHL.
Because of the condensed schedule.
Because of the condensed schedule. And when you look at what's ahead for the Leafs, that sentiment really rings true. They play tonight. They've got the Winnipeg Jets on New Year's Day.
And then January.
And then they plunge headfirst into 16 games in January alone.
16 games in 1 month with this roster. That's just brutal.
It is. They're already in a position where they have to make up a lot of ground in the Eastern Conference. So they are absolutely in tough. They need to bank points now, but they can't even ice their best team. That level of fatigue and pressure, it just exponentially increases the risk of more injuries.
You just hope the whole thing doesn't spiral.
Well, and this is where we have to find some balance, right?
Yeah.
It's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
There are parts of the organization that have been showing resilience, and they're going to have to lean on them now more than ever.
That's a great point. Before this injury tsunami hit, the team had started to turn a corner. We saw real improvements.